Networking is like speed dating for businesses.
Yes, maybe that's why we all cringe.
Do your networking meetings ever start that way? Have you been to those networking events? You know what I'm talking about, right? Welcome, my friends, to the Happiness Breakthrough, where resilience, mindset, and excellence converge. Join us, Dr. Mark and Becky Leonard, high school sweethearts turned entrepreneurs, as we share powerful stories and practical tips to elevate your life.
From overcoming life's toughest trials to mastering mindset and relationships, every episode is a journey towards your happiest, most fulfilled self. Tune in and transform your life with real, actionable wisdom.
Hi, my name is Becky.
Oh, hi, Becky. I'm Mark.
Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Fine.
Okay, cool. I'm excited about the meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be great. First time here.
Yeah, me too. Cool.
Do your networking meetings ever start that way? Have you been to those networking events? You know what I'm talking about, right? You show up and they are so awkward. They're standing outside. You're either in your car or you make an extra trip to the bathroom to breathe. And like, okay, I'm gonna go in. It's gonna be okay. I could do this. And you're telling yourself, don't be awkward. Have you ever had that experience?
Yes, I have. I ever had that experience. Yes, you're talking to the introvert. However, let me give you a sneak peek into some really interesting information. This guy has had that experience. The extrovert has had that experience. Networking can be hard. It can be awkward. It can be difficult. It just can feel like a chore instead of a joy. For me, for Mark, probably for you too. That it takes like a special personality to just be ramped about doing networking. But we're going to talk about networking. I want you to like throw out your preconceived notions about networking, because I feel like we should have come up with a different term for networking, because networking should not be networking. Ugh. Like for me, even the term networking makes me feel like,
it just makes you feel a little gross inside, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh my goodness, I have to go put on the smile, and I have to go pretend that I'm so excited to be here, and my boss told me to be here, or you need to be here because it's about your business, but all you're thinking about is the 5,000 things you would rather be doing. Let's dispel those and let's turn you into master networkers.
yes.
But I love the idea of changing the name to networking, and I'm going to do it right here.
Oh, that's funny, because I'm going to do it right here. You tell me yours.
Oh, communicator?
Oh, I was going to say master connectors.
Oh, okay. So how can you be a master connector instead of a master networker? So we're going to give you some of the tools that we utilize and what makes networking and connecting a lot more fun, and to take out that awkwardness, right? Because no one likes the awkwardness. Networking is like speed dating for businesses.
Yes, maybe that's why we all cringe.
I just had this memory. I went to a convention a couple years ago. It was all about small businesses, and I attended the speed dating networking class.
Oh.
It was uncomfortable. It was terrible. So let's give you some ideas of what you could do differently to turn you from a networker into a master connector. I have a model that I like to utilize, and I'll give you a couple different steps to it. The first...
Wait.
Yes.
Before we get in, like deep dive into that,
Oh.
I think that our audience would like to hear how you got to the point where you became master connector instead of the extrovert that was cringing at going to a networking meeting.
Okay, that's a very, very good question that I will answer some other day. No, I will not. Okay, so it's actually a couple different things. There is a particular book that I read by Daniel Pink. And it is, oh boy, I hope I could come up with it.
We'll put it in the show notes if he can't come up with it so that you can check out the book. There's actually, I would say that his model comes from a few different books that he's read over the last 10 years.
Well, this one, my model is not based on this, but it changed my view of how I go in. And the whole idea of the book is that you have been in sales your entire life. Let me give you an example. If we were planning what to do for dinner, that's sales, folks. Let me show you. Hey, this is good. Yeah, we're gonna go live with how to do sales for dinner. You ready?
Sales for dinner.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, the answer for us cannot be sushi because we already know that's a pre-win for us. But watch what happens here. Hey babe, we're gonna have a long day here. We're recording, we've got some doctor's appointments, we have some errands to run. I'm already thinking about dinner. What would you like for dinner?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
And that is always the answer because we're not really thinking about it. Watch what happens when we do this. Hey babe, we're having a long day here. We're recording an episode. We have a doctor's appointment. We have some errands to run. I was thinking for dinner, what if I grilled up some chicken and salad and had that with a side of sweet potatoes?
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Notice, all I did is I gave an idea, and we sit here and we think that sales is more difficult than that.
I mean, you sold me. Is it happening?
Absolutely, it's happening. I just got myself into that corner, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Dagnabbit, that's okay. So here's the great thing. And this is what I loved about this Daniel Pink book about sales, is that we too often approach sales as this icky, yucky feeling thing, right? Where, ooh, I'm trying to get something and I need their money. And it becomes an uncomfortable process. And we equate networking to sales. We're trying to sell our services, our product, the things that we do.
Yes,
and we
yes.
instantly gravitate towards away from that. So this is where that book changed my mind about sales, because I realized that every conversation in life is some form of a sales conversation. If it is, hey, did you happen to see that movie? What did you love about it? I loved this part. It feels like an easy conversation, but really what's happening here is you're getting onto the same page.
Oh, I like that. Getting onto the same page. Yeah. I think that for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think that maybe the reason that people feel awkward about selling their own product is because there's a self-serving part of it. Whereas if you're telling somebody about your favorite movie, it's not self-serving. You're selling somebody else's product.
It really is. And people get really in their head about, oh, do I tell them about my product? Is it the right price? Can they afford it? Let me look at their shoes. Oh wait, no, they can never afford this. Look at the shoes that they're wearing. Oh my goodness. Or
is that the indicator?
Are their nails manicured? Their shirt is halfway tucked in, halfway tucked out, and we begin to prejudge.
Wait, that's a style now, babe.
Oh, yes, I'm just rocking a style now. I'm not disheveled, I'm styled.
Exactly.
But what happens is, it's really fascinating. People get in their mind that sales is this really difficult process.
Yes.
And we begin to prejudge, and we often go to, what if they say no?
Yes.
So, easy. Hey babe, we have a really long day today. We're recording, we have a doctor's appointment, we have errands to go run. I was thinking for dinner about making some homemade barbecue pizza. What do you think?
I'm not really feeling barbecue pizza. What if we did like the tomatoes and mozzarella and like a pesto sauce instead?
Oh, like a caprese style. Ooh, that sounds really good. Did you want thin crust or thick crust?
Thin.
Okay, so notice what we just did there is I gave an option, she gave something back. You guys do it all the time. Why isn't your sales process the same way? Or your networking, or better yet, connecting process the same way? So I'm going to give you a model based on many books, seminars I've attended, courses I've taken, that I have found to be very, very effective. Now, let me also give you a little more background on my doctorate. I studied sales teams. And that was also a major turning point for me because I was looking at one company that has the exact same product across the country, exact same pricing, but there were some teams that were more effective than others. And I wanted to find out why. They have the same training manual, they have the same script. Why would one team be so much better than the other? And I actually found it had to do with a couple things. One, it had to do with the leader. And if you're self-employed, that's you. If you...
Yeah, sorry, it's on you.
Ta-da! But I also was looking at how were they speaking? What were they doing to prime somebody so that the sales would be more effective? And it came down to what is called a coaching style. So this is where my model of networking and master connecting comes from, is from the idea of how can we coach, or how can we have conversations that get people to move in one direction or another.
Right. How do we?
Oh, I'm so glad that you asked.
Do tell me, babe.
Okay, so let's go to our fictional networking meeting. You have been assigned, or you are self-employed, and you know you should be going to a networking meeting, and you walk into a room and you do not recognize anyone.
Oh.
What do you do?
Pick the nicest looking person.
What does that even mean, the nicest looking person?
It's an empath thing. I don't know. I fill out the room. I'm like, this person feels good.
It's like an empath radar? Oh, I think they're nice. I don't think they'll yell at me.
Hey, I haven't been wrong.
Okay, so that works.
It's a good place to start because I don't know. You have to go with who you like. You scan the room. You find somebody that you feel comfortable approaching, right? Because you're going to have to approach somebody. That's how these meetings work. That's how anything works. Anytime you're in the community, I mean, even in our store, we have part of what we do is connect with people. How is your service? What was your experience, right? We have to find somebody to connect with. So
okay, so you just hit upon point number 2. So let me finish point number 1.
Okay.
And that is you have to connect with somebody.
Someone.
Whatever it is.
Yes, please don't be that person that's like sitting at the table just waiting for the meeting to start. You're never going to grow your business if you're just going to sit there. And here's the thing, people don't generally come up to people that are just sitting at the table.
No, in fact, you already did it in your life. It was called junior high dance, and you were a wallflower. I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So you've already done that. And how well did that junior high dance wallflower experience work for you?
It was terrible. I didn't go back.
Exactly. So if that's what you're going to do, that is going to be a problem. So you need to connect with someone right away. The second thing you need to do is actually, I hate to say it, I'm out of order. The very first thing I like to do is before I go in, I remind myself of I call them my clarity words or my words of strength. I call, in fact, I'm wearing my bracelet today that says strength. I have 3 words that describe the very best of who I am at all times. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not who I am, but it's who I aspire to be. And I like to just repeat to myself, I am, and then insert those 3 words. There's so many great words out there that would describe the very best of who you are. Why do you do that? Well, from a science perspective, it begins to release the hormones that give you the sense of confidence. Even if you don't really believe that you are strength or courage, or you don't believe that you're outgoing or whatever those words are, the more that you say it and repeat it to yourself, the more likely it is for you to believe it over time. Immediately after doing that, you connect with someone. Really cool thing happens when you go to connect with someone. I don't think I want to get too sciencey on this, but when you connect with someone, humans have what are called pheromones. You can't actually smell them. Often people go, oh, a pheromone, that has to do with the sexual attraction. No, no, it's a pheromone. Dogs have the same things. Luckily, we don't act like dogs in public because that's gross. But there is a smell that we have. And if you've ever been out of country, you'll notice people from different countries have different smells. And you'll get comfortable around some of those. And for some reason, one of those will feel like an empath. You'll feel a connection there. Doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be romantic. It's a feeling of trust. So now, when you connect and you have been repeating the words of the very best of you, it creates courage.
Oh. So what you're saying is I'm just a super smeller.
You're a super smeller. You are like a wolf, ready to go.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I agree with that. I think we erroneously believe that pheromones are only of a sexual nature, but they're not. They're released anytime. You're saying they're released anytime that we connect.
Yes, and what's really cool is that when you have a connection of trust, you could actually have a serotonin release, hormone in your body, and that will give you a feeling of confidence and a feeling of trust as well. So these are all things that are happening biologically when you connect with someone, but you have to prime your mind for it first, even if you don't feel like it. Because isn't it true? You have two choices. One, you don't do it because you're scared. Or two, you do it scared. It's just better to just jump in nervous and feel like, what am I going to do? Okay, now step number 3. Let me give you what to say when you connect with someone. Do you have any ideas?
You ask open-ended questions that get them talking about themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. That's exactly it.
Okay.
Ask them open-ended questions. One of my favorite ones, when I am brand new into a room, I don't know anyone else, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, I'll just ask them. I'll walk up to someone and go, I'll be authentic and courageous, and I'll say, I'm a little uncomfortable. I don't know anyone here. Just open up. Hey, have you been here before? Mm-hmm. What was your experience? Then you start to introduce yourself. Now, often introduction goes something like this. Hi, my name is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
What's your name?
Becky.
Hi, Becky. Where are you from?
Right here in Queen Creek.
Queen Creek. Oh, okay. That's in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. What do you do for a living? See, do you notice how boring that is? Watch this. Hey, this is my first time here. I'm a little nervous. Have you been here before?
I haven't. I'm kind of nervous about it too, actually.
Okay, so good. We're together. So 1, you just created a relationship of similarity. If she had been here before, I could follow up with a question such as, oh, awesome. What goes on here? What is this meeting like? Mm-hmm. What do you love about it? Get them talking about the positives. Remember, you're there to network and connect. As soon as you start going down negativity, that's what will follow you. And by the way, you will kill your ability to network and connect with others. So stay positive.
That's true. And then if the person hasn't been there before like you, that opens up a whole different set of questions. For example, how did you hear about this meeting?
What do you hope to learn here? Who do you hope to connect with?
Yeah, that was a good one. See, he's good at this.
I now love networking. Even as an extrovert, I used to avoid it like the plague, and I became very uncomfortable and I psych myself out. And still, on occasion, I'll sit there and I'll look at my calendar and I'll be, oh, dang it, I'm supposed to network. Today's at 4 o'clock, and Becky's so good. What do you always say?
What do I always say? I didn't realize I always said something. I don't know.
You do.
You're going to love it.
You do. You say it every time. You're going to love it. Yeah, but I don't want to go this time. And she just encourages me. Just go. Just go.
Just go.
Just go.
You're going to love it.
Okay, asking open-ended questions. Great model.
So let me give you another like sneak peek. This guy used to really struggle with that. So tip for you on what he used to do. He used to, ahead of time, write down questions that he could ask, and he had like a little thing in his pocket so that if he got stuck at some point, he didn't pull it out of his pocket while he was talking to somebody.
That would be amazing.
Like as he was going into the meeting, he might like re-look at the paper and say like, oh yeah, these are things that I could ask. Or like between people, he could maybe give himself a little reminder, right? And that for him gave him so much confidence. It's been years and years since that little paper was a thing, but
I had forgotten about that.
Right.
Actually, I had forgotten. And then what I would do is, so I would read it just before I go in there. I'd walk up to someone, and of course, what would the very first question come out like? Hi, so excited, what are you doing? And it was this just awful, awkward question that I didn't even understand, and then you get in your head. And my tactic has just become, after I say something like that, because we all do it.
All of us.
I laugh. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I just say? I am so sorry. Like, I am so nervous. What are you most excited about for being here today? As soon as I ask that, people open up. Oh, now, what is it that you do? And when they tell me, that's fascinating. Why are you so passionate about doing that? Mm-hmm. Another question I'd love to ask. Is there someone here that you're really hoping to meet?
Yeah.
And as soon as they open it up, I go, you know what? Hey, Becky, is it okay if I write that down, and then if I find that person, can I introduce you? Oh, you just went from selling you, right, nervous about your sales, to connecting. Now, what happens when you connect someone?
I think that it gives people the understanding that you're not just in it to sell something, that you're truly there to get to know people and to care about what their needs are. And there's something magic that happens in that when people see that you're genuine about the connection, they remember you for the thing that you actually do.
Absolutely. So one of my other strategies, thank you, is when I find out who they want to connect with, I'll say, oh, Becky, you know what? I just met someone, come here. And I'll drag her over. I'll say, hey, Sean, meet my good friend Becky. She is really passionate about health and fitness and improving people's lives. Weren't you just telling me that you were looking for someone like that? Now I connected them. And now I can go on to somebody else. It's a powerful tool for changing how you are showing up in a meeting.
Mm-hmm. So is that it?
Yeah, it really is. It is remind yourself the very best of who you are before you show up. If you don't have that down, definitely, I've got some other episodes on that. I have a course that talks about that. I coach on that very thing. Reach out, let me help you determine that for you. The second is swallow that dang pride, walk up to someone. Empaths, you do your empathy radar.
Find the right nice person.
You know what I look at? I will look at a couple different things. As I'm looking around, if someone gives me eye contact, I make a beeline.
That's true.
I'll just, because I'm like, well, they saw me, so let me just walk up, even if they're in a group.
Yeah.
And then I'll interject and I'll be, hey, you guys, I'm Mark, first time here.
Yeah.
I stay away from the traditional questions of what is your name, where you're from, what do you do? People do not create connection that way. The better way to create connection is find out what they're passionate about. Get them talking about themselves. What are they excited about? I will also use a question such as this when I'm networking. I'll ask, if there was one problem that you could solve that would make your business run more smoothly and be more effective, what would it be? Now I know what their problems are. See, now if I have a product or something that I can help solve that, great. And if it's not me, then I know somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say if you are in a situation where the questions have already been asked about what your name is, what you do, you can even ask open-ended questions that help you understand what they do. Instead of it just being what they do, how did you get into that field? What interested you in that field? What were the steps that you took to get where you are now? There's so many things that you can learn about them, even if you start with the, what's your name and what do you do?
Which is where they all go. Everyone goes to that. Okay, another part of networking. This is my favorite. It is the round table. This is when everyone stands up and they are only allowed to say a couple things. My name is Mark. I'm from Queen Creek, Arizona, and I am a high performance coach. And then the next person.
And everybody goes, hi, Mark.
My name is Betty, and if you're looking to buy or sell a home, I'm your real estate agent. Give me a call. Right? Everyone says that.
Yes. Don't you dread that? I dread that part. I'm like, oh, great. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes going around the room hearing this is my name and this is what I do.
And you will never remember a single person.
Never, never. And then on the off chance that you actually need their service, you still can't remember it. Like, oh, there was that really cool funeral dude, but...
Oh, that is amazing because I even know who you're talking about.
I do love him.
He always wears the bow tie.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what do you do to share your story in 10 seconds or less? Because that's traditionally 15 seconds all you have when you're standing up.
Yes.
Instead of sharing your name, where you're from, and what you do, I flip it around and I start, and thank you, Simon Sinek. He has a great book and a TED Talk out there with Start With Why.
It's a good one.
And I utilize this model at this point. I will stand up, as many of you know, we own some franchises, and I write this down. I have it in the notes of my phone. I sometimes write it on a napkin. I sit and I ponder so that when I stand up, I'm not babbling.
Wise.
And I will say something like this. Hi everyone, I am helping develop future leaders. I inspire teenagers to become their very best while running $1 million businesses and learning leadership and business skills. I do that by selling ice cream. My name is Mark and I own, and then I give my name, my business. People go, wait, you do what? You inspire teenagers? Yes, and I teach them certain skills that I'm passionate about. And I get more people that come up to me because of how I approach it.
Mm-hmm. And it's always different. It's not a script. It's always something that's a little bit different that catches people off guard and causes them to listen and want to know more.
If I'm talking about my coaching or my speaking services, I will, instead of saying, my name is Dr. Mark Leonard, I own the happiness breakthrough. Call me if you want to learn how to be more powerful in your life. Great, okay, accurate, true.
Yeah.
Boring as
all
all
good
get
things
out.
100%. Yes.
So if I'm talking about my coaching or my speaking services, I would start differently with that one as well. Maybe it would be something aligned with this. Are you stressed out and burnt out? Do you feel overwhelmed and not sure which way you're going to go? Are you an entrepreneur that is trying to hold it all together and you just haven't figured out how to do it yet? My name is Dr. Mark Leonard, and I have a solution called the Happiness Breakthrough that will revolutionize your life. Give me a call if you're ready to improve.
That was really good.
That was
good. That was really good.
It's a different notice, and if I'm a real estate agent. Okay, how would you do it if you're a real estate agent?
I would suspect that I would focus on the demographic that I'm trying to. I'd say something about, are you looking for a house, but you're finding that it's not meeting the needs of your young family? And I mean, I'm not a real estate agent, so, but, right. So then I would go into some things that a young family would struggle to find in a home. You know, I specialize in this. Call me if you'd like me to help you with finding just the right home for your little family.
I love that. Yeah. Can I give a stab at it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. If your demographic, and I love this, know your audience. Whenever you are becoming a master connector, know who your audience is. And remember, whoever you speak with, they may not be your audience, but they know somebody that is.
Yes.
So keep it flowing and keep it easy to go. So if I was a real estate agent and my demographic was small but growing families, I might say something like this. Do you find that as you're walking down the hallway at night, you continue to step on Legos? Have you experienced the pain of walking into the bedroom and finding it a total, complete disaster? I help you find your dream home so that you could be more organized and more efficient in everything that you do. My name is Mark, and I am the real estate agent that will solve your problems.
Okay, that was better than mine.
I just took what you said about one of their pain points.
Yes.
A growing family. What do I know about growing families? Legos. What do I know about Legos? They hurt. They are a death trap.
Fair. But you could go in so many ways with that, right? I like how Mark said beforehand that he would spend time thinking about what it was that he was going to say. You don't have to be off the cuff. He happens to be really good at off the cuff now. I am not. But you don't have to be either. You can spend the time ahead of time to think about what it is that will help you to show that you connect with your specific audience and make it clever enough that they'll remember you and want to do business with you.
I stood up at one networking meeting off the cuff, and this is from an event that we had just done the week before with a police department, and I shared something that they said. I stood up and I said, "Hi, I am your local drug dealer."
It stopped everybody, and then they laughed.
And then they laughed, and then the guy running the meeting, he goes, "He's not a real drug dealer." I said, "Hey, the chief of police called me the largest drug dealer in town because my products are so addictive. Make sure you come in and cool off at our store." And
it was clever. It was way funny.
It was great. So
yeah.
I caught people off guard. I did something that wasn't about my name. It was about my product and a problem that I solved for them.
Yeah. So then the challenge for you, I guess I should ask, is that everything?
No, I've got one more. I love networking so much. And I could do a whole master class on nothing but...
We should.
And I will.
We will.
I'll do a whole master class on networking, but there's just one more, and I'll keep this one really short.
Okay.
Okay, so the first is, how do you start those first conversations, and how do you ask the right questions that are open-ended that get a response? The second is leading out with your purpose, right? So that when you have a large introduction, it's not about your name and your business and where you're from, it's about the problems that you're solving that are relatable.
Right.
The third one is, and this is one I have to work on still. I'm a large guy, and when I wear my cowboy boots, I look even bigger, and because they're my man heels, let's be clear on that.
Yes.
When I walk into a room and I'm confident and I'm loud and I'm boisterous, I've had to change so that people do not see me walk in and they hear me or they sense me and they feel me and they go, Mark is here, to walking in with a different purpose.
Right.
Instead of becoming the life of the party, which is what I can do very easily as an outgoing, extroverted, orange, whatever title you want to give from a different assessment. Instead of being that, I now walk in the room and I ask myself before I go in, okay, how can I walk in here to serve somebody else?
Yeah, I like that. So when he says he has to change, it doesn't mean that he's changing his personality. It means that he's being aware of his surroundings and matching how he represents himself to the appropriate situation, right?
Yes, because that embarrassing moment when I walked into the funeral, like, hey, everybody, didn't go over so well.
I don't think that really happened.
No, it didn't. But
But that is a really good visual understanding. Like, somebody that's walking into a funeral hasn't changed themselves to be at the funeral. They are appropriately matching their tone, their output, how they're representing themselves to this particular situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't change who I was at the funeral, but I changed how I portrayed myself to be more in line with the audience at hand. So again, know your audience, know who it is that you're there to serve, and go in to your master connecting events truly with that question of, how can I serve them today?
Yeah.
How can I be my very best so that I am of service to somebody else?
Yeah. And this goes for, like I said, any event. I don't know if you do networking events, but there's chamber, right? Your city chamber events. There's Rotary Club. There's other, smaller, more intimate networking groups, but you don't have to network in a networking group. I would say that these tips that we're giving you are for any time that you're going out in the community and you're representing your product, you're representing who you are and what you do, right?
Yes.
That you don't have to be specifically going to a networking event in order to network appropriately. And the more you can really utilize these tips in all aspects of your life, anytime you're in the community, the more it just flows. What do you say? Putting in the reps. That should be my saying. Putting in the reps. The more times you do it, the easier it will become. The more it will become who you are, and the more people will then connect with you, because it's not just about selling a product. It's about the relationships that you're building.
Yes, because that's why you want to become a master connector. It builds relationships, and relationships build trust, and trust brings sales, not just to you, but to your friends. So figure out how you can become a master connector when you put in the reps. I love that. Do it over and over and over again. By the way, the first time you went to the gym and you picked up that heavy weight, it was difficult, right? But you kept going, and soon you got stronger and stronger and picked up heavier and heavier weights. You can do that with your networking and master connecting events as well.
Yeah.
I love this topic. I'm passionate about it. I just met with an insurance company the other day talking about how they can revolutionize their sales process and utilizing these very same tactics. Make sure that you are following, listening along, sharing this with your friends, because we've got even more tips and ideas of what you can do to improve your business, to improve your dreams, to improve your life. Thank you so much, you guys. We're so excited that we've been able to share some of these tips. Do you have any last parting messages of hope that you want to give them?
Hope? I don't know, just you could do it. Just be bold and go do it.
I love that. Be bold and do it. Thanks, you guys.